Hello from Covenant Life Fellowship, where Ken Porter
That's me.
is the pastor. My name is Bev Porter. Welcome to Bev's Lifeline. Today we want to talk to you about forgiveness part
two.
two.
Yes.
So a few weeks ago, we did a Lifeline, and it was called Forgiveness. And that Lifeline was based on the sermon for that day from the book of Philemon.
Yes. It was a love letter, actually, that Paul wrote to Philemon to take a runaway slave, Onesimus, back to him. And the gist of that is that regardless of what happened and what transpired, we need to forgive. Whether you feel that you're at fault or not, the Bible tells us that if your brother has an ought against you, you go to your brother and you resolve that. And sometimes we have to make sure that we do that. It's difficult, but that is what Philemon needed to do with his slave, Onesimus, who is now not a slave, but his brother in Christ.
Yeah, so that was such a great sermon, and I was with him all the way until he said, we have to go to our brother even if we were not the offender.
Right.
But if you know that the relationship needs mending, your responsibility as a Christian is to go and make that relationship reconcile. And I'm like, so, and I did that because I know that there is a relationship that I have that has been negatively affected by a conflict. So I said in this Lifeline a couple of weeks ago, oh Lord, I got to pray on this thing, and I got to go to my sister in Christ and just want to be able to understand where she is, even though I didn't feel like I was the offender. So this is forgiveness part two. I did just that. I was very prayerful that week. But as soon as the Lifeline was over, I sent the message and said, hey, can we have some time together? And I was praying all through the week. Lord, give me the right words. And so I did meet with this individual. But I have to tell you something. Posture is important. And so I went into this conversation and my posture still had a bit of a defense, right? So while she was talking, I was thinking to myself, some of the things she was saying was just not accurate. And in my head, I was trying to prepare my rebuttal. The posture was not right. And so we got through the conversation. In fact, I think it was a successful conversation. But did it go as far as it could have? Probably not, because of my posture, right? I should have been listening from her perspective. And it was her perspective that I needed to try to labor to understand, right? And so here is the good news. The good news is that I realized for myself that while I made the effort, there was still something else that needed to happen, and that was healing for me, right? And so when you're asking for forgiveness, it's really for that person. It's for yourself. So I needed that. And so after the conversation, I continued to think about it, and I prayed about it, and I needed to give myself time to heal, right? And so here's the lesson. There's three things. One, God requires us, because we're believers, to have a spirit of reconciliation.
Absolutely.
Second, go into that reconciliation with the right posture, not a defensive posture. We're human, but be mindful of it. And three, give yourself time to heal.
Yes.
I think those are three things that I learned.
Yes, it's very important because we cannot control what a person says or what a person does. We can't control what we do. And that's what Christ is requiring and holding us responsible for. It doesn't matter what the other person thinks after the fact. That's their perception. That's their reality. But you have discharged your duty and you are free. And whom the Son set free is free indeed. Hey, this is ministry. We need you to like it and we need you to share it. Until next time, we love you infinity.
Bye for now.